Toyota cannot make the RAV4 Prime fast enough. Today, we're gonna dive into the fastest selling vehicles here in America. Over at iSeeCars.com, the fastest selling new and used cars in March. Guys, if you're new to the channel, my name's Kirk. I talk about Japanese and Korean autos for the most part, and I dive into a lot of the nerdier things when it comes to these vehicles, and I love talking about sales figures because that is so important for the longevity of the industry. And it's like keeping score in sports. So if you're into that, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell icon, smash the like button. All these sales figures are just for March 2021. They analyze over 1.5 million new and used car sales. Top 20 fastest selling vehicles. Corvette, number one, doesn't surprise me at all. The mid-engine Corvette's pretty darn cool. RAV4 Prime, coming in at number two. It only takes Toyota 10.2 days to sell one of these things once it hits the lot. Now you might see a glaring vehicle brand missing, and that's Tesla, largely because Tesla doesn't have dealerships, so they're not going to be able to track how long their vehicles sit on the lot before they're sold. But we'll look at Tesla here in a little bit when it comes to used cars. They're doing well in the used car end. Now, Toyota Rav4 Prime is selling on average of 44,000, which is probably on average what the XSE starts at, which I reviewed. If you guys missed a review, go ahead and check that out. But what I find interesting, how many RAV4 Primes that Toyota is actually selling. If we go to the list here, this is their quarterly report. We're looking at RAV4 Prime, and they've sold 2792 in the first 3 months. Now, if you remember last year, Toyota sold 5,000 units for 2020, and they wanted to have 20,000 units for 2021. Well, if we get the old trusty dusty calculator out, 2792, that's the first quarter, right? So times 4, we're looking at only 11,000 vehicles that they are sending to America, which is a roughly half. I mean, again, we're estimating, but it's roughly half of what they promised back in 2020. Now, we know that there are chip shortages are largely affecting automakers, but that is quite ridiculous. So I don't expect the RAV4 Prime, let's go back to the list, to fall very far from the top 10, to be honest, for the remainder of 2021. So yeah, moving on from the RAV4 Prime though, Kia Telluride. What I find interesting about this is there's no secret that the Kia Telluride and the Hyundai Palisade are doing well, large 3-row crossovers, but where is the Hyundai Palisade on this list? It's not even on the list. And I think it's because the Kia Telluride looks a million times better. That's just my opinion. I think it looks way, way, way better. The headlights, the grille looks way better on the Telluride than the Hyundai Palisade. What do you guys think? Now, Chevy comes in with the next few, and GM is doing really, really well with their new Tahoe, Cadillac, Escalade, as well as the Yukon down here at number 9. So that doesn't come as a surprise. Hyundai Elantra hybrid, maybe that's a diamond in the rough, guys. But there is a ton of Toyota and Lexus vehicles. We already mentioned the RAV4 Prime, Tacoma in the top 10, Lexus IS 350. For February, the Lexus IS 350 was in the number 2 spot, so it's dropped a little bit. So maybe they've able to keep up with the demand here. And just scrolling down, Tundra still on the list, which is crazy because a Tundra doesn't sell nearly as much as, let's say, the F-150, but the F-150 hybrid is in hot demand. So once Toyota is able to come out with the Tundra hybrid, that thing is going to be on this list as well, probably in the top 5, I would expect. But we don't know when they're coming out with the Tundra hybrid. Recent reports are saying early 2022, while the normal twin-turbo V6 redesigned TNGA-F Tundra should be coming out in the second half of this year. Normal RAV4 hybrid. People are waiting in line for the Prime. They're like, hey, the RAV4 hybrid's good enough for my needs, and they're settling for the RAV4 hybrid. Not the majority of these buyers for the hybrid, but a lot of them, I guarantee it. And Toyota Sienna in there as well. Again, another hybrid. RX 450h, another hybrid, and Toyota 4Runner. The Dinosaur continues to sell well. So crazy amounts of Toyota and Lexus vehicles. And it makes me kind of scratch my head. Where are the rest of the other Japanese automakers? Where's Subaru? Where's Nissan? Mitsubishi's not in here, which doesn't come as a surprise. But Honda, Do you guys see one Honda product in here? No Acura products either. So that is a little unsettling. Now, we're not going to stop there. We got a couple other charts that we're just going to fly through. And even the Kia Telluride is crushing it on the fastest selling used side of things. MX-5 Miata, those things are just crazy. They hold their value. Even the used price is $22,000 on those MX-5s. So they're snapping up fairly new models of those. There's the Hyundai Palisade coming in at number 3 on the used vehicle. So yeah, interesting that it's nowhere close to the top 20. Well, it's not in the top 20 for new vehicles. Chevy Corvette doing well, doesn't come as a surprise. Kia Stinger, that is the biggest surprise. That people don't want to buy new Stingers, they want to buy used Stingers. Tesla Model 3, there you go, in the top 10. Our first Honda model, guys, comes in on the used end in the top 10. Sits on the lot for 30 days and sells for roughly $20,000. Now, our first Toyota product, the Lexus NX, comes in on the used list. So it looks like the Toyotas, looks like people are wanting to buy new Toyotas. I don't know what's going on with the Toyotas, but the LX570, which I find is interesting here, they're buying pretty new ones at $70,000 average buying price. Or they're buying used ones because the Land Cruiser and the LX are roughly the same vehicle, obviously different body pieces, different interiors, just a little bit, but the Lexus LX570, people want a piece of that Land Cruiser pie, and that is what they're doing. You see, interestingly, the Land Cruiser is not on this list, which kind of surprised me because it's selling really, really well in the United States. And it's also not on this top 20 list. So it's got to be pretty close. I know it was in February, so maybe the inventory is already dwindling on those Land Cruisers, and maybe dealers at this point are just jacking up the prices. But another Honda here, and then we have a Mitsubishi to round out the list, and then Lexus RX Hybrid also on the used list, as well as making it in the top 20 on the new list. Now there's other charts here, guys. Fastest selling alternative fuel vehicles, so that'll be Rav4 Prime, doesn't come as a surprise. So this is on the new end. Of course, Tesla's not on this list. And then used, Tesla's number 1 on the used alternative fuel vehicles. So just thought that was interesting, and we're going to keep moving. If you guys missed on live stream yesterday, Hyundai unveiled the segment-shattering Santa Cruz sport adventure vehicle, and it was a fun live stream. We got some unexpected things, at least unexpected for me. We got a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine, as well as a 2.5 liter turbo powertrain. And we're just going to skip right down to those powertrains because that's the most exciting thing for me. There's no manual transmission, unfortunately, if you guys are looking for it. You can shift with the DCT on the 2.5 turbo with paddle shifters, but there's no manual transmission, I don't believe, on this pickup truck. So 2.5 liter direct injected 4-cylinder with 190 horsepower and 180 pound-feet of torque. Interesting they put plus there. So that might mean on regular fuel, where you can probably get more power on it. You will get more power on premium fuel. So that is just with the 8-speed torque converter transmission. And then the optional engine, which allows you to tow 5,000 pounds. The normal base engine allows you to tow 3,500 pounds, but you can tow 5,000 pounds with this little tiny pickup truck with this 2.5 liter turbo 4-cylinder with 275 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque. This engine is going to be one of the more promising engines in the segment right now. A lot of people do like naturally aspirated V6s. Well, you don't have that option, but in terms of torque delivery, this might have the best torque delivery and horsepower combination in the entire automotive segment for small pickup trucks. The interior looks nice. The, of course, safety feature is going to be pretty good. A lot of those safety features are optional. It would have been nice to have blind spot view monitor, as well as blind spot collision avoidance. It would have been nice for those to be standard, but you can also get a 360 camera and rear cross traffic alert, which would have been nice to be standard for the rear cross traffic alert. We still don't have packaging and pricing, but I do think the Santa Cruz is going to do well for Hyundai in a very, very hot segment. We got more news before I let you guys go. Toyota Land Cruiser 300 series trims and options leaked. This has been out for a couple days now, and it doesn't really excite me. Again, we're not getting the Land Cruiser, this generation of Land Cruiser here in the United States anymore. And if you guys want to read this segment right here in terms of the engines, I've already covered the engines on the channel, the turbo diesel as well as the twin turbo V6. And the grades. I'm not going to read through this brick of text. You guys can pause it if you're interested in it. I'm going to keep moving. Toyota recalls 279,000 Venza crossovers for airbag deployment. When I saw this, I'm like, there's no way they've sold 279,000 Venzas. Well, this is the old generation of Venza. So interestingly, damaged wires could cause airbag sensors to become inoperable. And this is on the front driver side door. Apparently, if you use it a lot, which I don't see why you wouldn't, the wiring harness can either become loose or severed. So Toyota's recalling almost 280,000 of the older Venzas from 2009 to 2015 model year. Of course, it says no accidents or injuries have been reported out of this. But if you're one of those Venza owners, call your local dealer to get this fixed. You do not want those airbags going out on you. 2021 Infiniti Q50 and Q60 recalled for stalling issue. Approximately 13,000 cars are affected. This is due to faulty engine management software. After rapid acceleration, the ECM can reduce the fuel supply too much, resulting in engine going into limp mode and possibly stalling. Yikes. Now, I would assume that it's affecting not only the twin turbo V6 standard, but also the Red Sport, but we don't have that information here. So, wow, hopefully this issue does not affect the twin turbo V6 in the upcoming Nissan Z. Hopefully this issue is resolved. It's really not affecting that many of them, but yes, no one wants to go into limp mode. And all new MX-30 coming to America. We've already been confirmed on this. It doesn't have that much range, maybe 100 miles, 120 miles of range, full electric mode. They are going to be putting a rotary engine in, and that rotary engine is going to be a range extender. And we don't have really any specifics on pricing. Availability is only going to be in California later this year. I'm sadly not excited for it. It's not powerful enough, doesn't have enough range for most people. I think it's really going to make or break itself on the pricing. I think that is going to be either a great buy, a great affordable option, or it's going to be way too expensive and no one's going to buy it. So I'm interested to see more information and details as we get closer to the launch. California only, yippee. So yeah, don't want to talk too much about that. I get too fired up about the MX-30. And the Mitsubishi Motors continues growth and investment across the U.S. dealer network. Mitsubishi continuing to open dealerships, 10 more dealerships, I believe, and all across the United States. When I saw this, I'm like, man, Mitsubishi, I was surprised last year. I kept seeing more Mitsubishi dealerships open, and here we are in 2021, and they got 10 more on board to open for Mitsubishi. So Mitsubishi must be telling these guys some really interesting things coming down the hatch. I know they're refreshing a lot of models, but sales haven't been good for Mitsubishi, so I don't know what is being told to these dealers that are buying in and buying up and working with the Mitsubishi. So fingers crossed Mitsubishi makes the ultimate comeback of all time and, resumes their former glory of the 90s, but with no performance models, that entire past as well as following is completely gone. So they're just selling crossovers and really small and affordable Mirages to the masses. With no passion, no real identity, and I really want Mitsubishi to succeed here in America, but I just don't think they have compelling enough options. But we'll see. I would love to review them, Mitsubishi, if you're listening. I'd love to review your products and give them a very favorable review. And guys, I will end it there. To be honest, the news today wasn't that exciting. I just want to put something out there because some of you guys probably found value in it. I am still reviewing the MX-5 ragtop convertible. It's just a little piece of automotive perfection. Love that vehicle so much. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss my coverage on that. And I will be doing a live stream soon, Sunday night, to cover all the new vehicles, including the ES refresh, as well as the Toyota fully electric vehicle that will be unveiled in the Shanghai Motor Show Sunday night around 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll be live streaming, hanging out with you guys. Bring your snacks and drinks for that. Have a wonderful day. Thank you guys so much for your support. Take care of yourselves. Peace out.